Gale is the Robocop of Daylor. Once gravely injured, her life was saved by wind-based cybernetics, and those are exactly what make her interesting. On this channel, we've recently run through some very complex Gearlocs, lots of synergies. In my mind, Gale was Chip Theory's attempt at creating a Gearloc that was geared for a new player. In general, spoiler alert, Gale is pretty straightforward. However, I think there's some pretty cool uses for Gale. Outside of introducing somebody to too many bones, the biggest use case for me is that second Gearloc when I'm playing two-handed that I don't want to think a whole lot about, that I still want to have an impact on the game, and allows me to really focus in on the more complex Gearloc. We're going to make our way through Gale's skill sheet, first exploring a couple of professions that are absolutely core to making Gale a productive member of the party, and similarly our core skills all new players are going to want to jump into first. Then we're going to jump into a profession that I will personally use all the time in my two-handed playthroughs, really revolving around support. And then lastly, we're going to jump into a profession that will add a little bit of spice to Gale, no matter how you choose to play her. And if you stay with me to the end, I'm going to run through a couple of builds that are sure to please the new players in your group, as well as anyone that wants to play a support Gearloc. Before we jump into the skills though, we really need to dive into what makes Gale tick, and that is her innate auto mechanic. Gale has 3 spots on her mat that start locked, and the only way to unlock them is through a 3-bone backup plan called Mechanic Protocol. These 3 major skill die, once unlocked, correspond to Gale's 3 major professions, and the Innate +1 allows Gale to put any of these major die into her lock slot for the remainder of the adventure. Each of these die give you a powerful ability. However, the M side will augment other skill die, most of which are in the same profession. And while we're here, let's take a quick look at the rest of her backup plan. As you might have guessed, is pretty straightforward. For 1 bone, Cool Breeze allows you to roll the die you're spending in the backup plan, and if you do get a bones, you can put it back, and if not, you can heal yourself for 1 HP. Then for 2 bones, there's Vent Canister that allows you to deal 1 true damage to an adjacent baddie. We already talked about the 3-bone Mechanic Protocol. For 4 bones, Wind Power allows you to change 1 skill dice to any result that you'd like. And for 5 bones, you can immediately roll all your attack die against an adjacent baddie. So now that we have an idea of how Gale functions, let's go through a couple of professions that will be the bread and butter for Gale. First, we're going to talk about Percussive Blaster. Deal the number of damage rolled to an adjacent baddie, and you can blow them back 2 spots. This might come in handy with another skill we're going to talk about a little bit later. Sonic Squall, super simple. Deal the number of damage rolled to an adjacent baddie. And Disorientation Charge has 2 numbers on it. The first number is the damage that you're going to do to the adjacent baddie. The second number is the amount that baddie's attack stat is reduced the next turn. So Arm Cannon is the first major die we're going to run into, and after we unlock it with that 3-bone result, we can train it. And it's a pretty good one. Basically, any of your skills that say adjacent baddie are now augmented to mean any baddie, so it essentially gives it range. And it just so happens all the attack protocol die say adjacent baddie. Then there's these M results that have different status effect symbols on them, and if you're using that, every time you use an attack protocol die against a baddie, you can also apply that status effect. It's things like poison, weaken, disable, and bleed. So pretty awesome status effects. Now the second core profession I'm going to go over is Defensive Protocol. Apt name, because it will help defend you. So first there's Wind Funnel. You place it on adjacent baddie, and this will also be enhanced by Arm Cannon, which we just talked about because the language says adjacent baddie. So if that's active, it can be any baddie. So once placed on an adjacent baddie, that baddie's attack die is the number on Wind Funnel. That may help you to survive some pretty nasty 20-point baddies out there. So Tornadic Barrier is a counter die. You place it on an adjacent spot and simply put, a baddie can't go there. At the end of the round, you tick it down. Once it were 0, you can get rid of it. Kind of another interesting way to defend yourself. So Blowback is pretty cool. If you have 1 or 2 baddies about to enter the mat, you can exhaust it to stop them for at least a round. So it can give you some breathing room. And then the cherry on top here is Macro Neural Implant. Once it's active, you're immune to stuff like bleed and stun, terrify, poison, and weaken. That right there is pretty overpowered. And the M side has a defensive logo, either a 1 or 2, and each time you use a defensive protocol die, you can add either a defense 1 or 2 into your active slot. So those major powers are starting to look pretty spicy. They're kind of fun. Those are the core professions, but if you want to play a support role, then you want to take a look at Medical Protocol. There's 2 die in particular that deal with healing. Target Med Boost allows you to heal any Gearloc for the number rolled, up to 3 health. And Life Circle is my personal favorite. At the end of your turn, you can heal yourself and any adjacent Gearlocs by the number on the die. Then you reduce it by 1, and when it would reach 0, you'd exhaust it. And then Sensory Remapper allows you to put a status effect die on any unit. There's good and bad ones, so you might apply something like Untargetable to another Gearloc or Daze to another baddie. Now, in my mind, the most interesting kind of augment to Gale is Movement Protocol. And as you can guess it by its name, it deals with how we move around the map. And I think it's interesting, especially when I'm thinking about it from a new player's perspective. If I start with attack and defense, it really builds a base on what the game's all about. When you start to become aware of how positioning can affect you in Too Many Bones, you kind of taking the game to the next level. This profession in general makes it a little easier to do so, and a little less punishing if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, because you can get out using Movement Protocol. Hit and run, you can move up to 3 positions. That's essentially at the end of your turn, possibly getting out of the range of a baddie or setting up the next skill die. With Sidestep, when a baddie moves adjacent to you, you can exhaust the die and move 1 space, essentially stopping a melee baddie from attacking you. And Sidestep can also help you get in position to topple another baddie. It allows you to apply weaken or stun to an adjacent baddie. And I think the most fun skill die here is Gust Rockets, which is the 3rd major that we're going to talk about today. Because while active, when using Dex to move, you can actually move diagonally. I mean, that can get you out of a surrounded situation, and that's huge. And like I'd said before, I think that's one of the things that will help bad positioning become less punishing. And its M side basically allows all Movement Protocol die to be boosted by the number on the die, which could be up to 2. So your hit and run can go from 3 to 5. Your sidestep can go from 1 to 3, which makes it way more powerful. So Gale is a Jill of all trades. The build that you decide to go with will definitely depend on the situation you're in, whether you're playing a support role or true solo, or you're just starting out in Too Many Bones. And that's where we'll start. If I'm playing true solo or I'm starting somebody out in Too Many Bones, this is the path I'm going to send them on. We're heavily going to go into attack protocol or defense protocol. We're going to try to get those major die out as soon as possible using the 3-bone backup plan mechanic protocol. And if you want a little more spice to it, I'd sacrifice a die in either attack and defense protocol and go a little bit into movement protocol. Really trying to get Gust Rockets and Sidestep, I think, would be the 2 that I'd pick. And if you want to be kind of full support to another heavy hitter that might need a little time to set up, I'd go into the medical protocol with Life Circle and targeted med boost. I'd also go up and grab Topple from the movement protocol to be able to apply more status effects. I'd also grab 1 or 2 attack protocol skills, trying to get Arm Cannon unlocked as fast as possible, because it's another way to be able to apply status effects to baddies. Gale is what she is. She's the perfect starter Gearloc, and in my mind, one of the best support Gearloc, and one in which I'm going to go to often if I'm playing somebody like Polaris or maybe Stanza. Some more thinky Gearlocs where I really want to think hard about my turn and not have to burn my brain on another Gearloc. That medical protocol makes Gale a perfect candidate for that. And really now, if I'm starting anyone out, or maybe I'm even bringing my kids into Too Many Bones, I'm going to put them out there with Gale. I think Gale has some nuances in there, but certainly not too many to confuse a new player. I mean, to be real, the rules of Too Many Bones are already going to do that. So starting them out on a nice basic Gearloc will increase the chance that they'll fall in love with Too Many Bones, which is what we all want anyways. And I think movement protocol throws a little bit of spice in there for somebody to start kind of playing outside of just sitting there and swinging at adjacent baddies and throwing up a defense die. If you made it this far, maybe think about subscribing. I have a lot more Too Many Bones content coming. I'm also going to be jumping into other games here soon. If there's some other games you'd like to see coverage on, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. And on that note, I'm out.